Tyler Robinson is back in court, and this time it is on a substantive hearing. This hearing will determine whether or not he will go forward and go to trial for unaliving Charlie Kirk. It's a great day for a great day. My name is Sydney Rushing. I'm a criminal defense attorney in the state of Michigan. Now let's talk about it. Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing began on Monday, and what this hearing is to determine whether the prosecution has enough evidence by a probable cause standard to charge Tyler Robinson. At the conclusion of the hearing, the judge will determine whether the state has met their burden at a probable cause standard, which just means more likely than not. What they have to show is that a crime was committed and that Tyler Robinson could have committed that crime. On day one, judge started off by reminding the courtroom about courtroom decorum and basically no outbursts. You've got to be quiet, don't cause a scene, things like that. He also went over the schedule, and then he asked the defense and the people if they had an order or a stipulation basically for sequestration, which means that any witnesses that were going to testify could not remain in the courtroom until it was their turn to testify. And there was two people that the prosecution said that they didn't want to be part of that sequestration order. The defense did not object to that, but all the other witnesses were sequestered, aka removed from the courtroom. They also talked about the exhibits and how they were going to be shown, and if they were going to be shown to the courtroom, if they were going to be shown to the media. The judge basically had it at 3 layers. First of all, he was going to determine whether it was admissible or not. And then one, whether only he would see it, whether he and the courtroom themselves would see it, or if he, the courtroom, and then the general public, aka all of us watching on social media or watching on YouTube or what have you, could see it. The state then called its first witness, Christopher Bagley, and I'm kind of determining him to be the tour guide kind of witness. He's a police officer with Utah Valley University. They went through his background, his training. They discussed his knowledge of campus, the incident location, and the location of the buildings. They admitted an exhibit of a picture of the courtyard. They talked about his duties that day. He was securing the south end on the Hall of Flags. He was on the roof there. Then there was another exhibit, which was a photo of campus. A third exhibit that was a photo of campus and the layout of it. And then there was exhibit 35, but it was actually like the 4th exhibit of the day, which was a huge blown up aerial picture of campus, which also included the neighborhoods to the north. You could see like the horseshoe thing. He talked about all this, described where everything was, but basically he was giving a layout to everyone in the courtroom about how this incident looked and where everything was located. So again, he was stationed at the Hall of Flags. He knew that he was doing security for the Charlie Kirk event. He saw Charlie Kirk there taking photos with people, moving around. And then he said that he heard that bang about 12:23. Everyone, he started to shout and run across. There was all this chaos. He said there was like thousands of people there. And then at that time, what he did is he tried coming down from the roof, but as he was coming down, there was lots of people going up the stairs. So he was having some troubles. So by the time he got to the bottom of the stairs, the radio said that they had somebody in custody. He said this was about 30 some seconds. So he started looking for people with injuries. Said he saw a kid on the ground convulsing and then went to him and he found out that he hadn't been pew-pewed, but that he was having a seizure. Then he started to try and preserve the crime scene because he knew that this was an active crime scene. He saw a pew-pew holder in the grass, and he thought that the noise that he heard was more of a long one, not a short one. Another officer that was there with him agreed with him that it did not come from a handheld one, but a longer version. He said that the difference is a handheld one, it's a short pop kind of sound, and where a longer one, it's a longer violent bang sound. Then he went to the Losi building. He got on the roof about 12:44. He saw a red and black screwdriver by a guardrail, and it was about 10 to 15 feet in. They admitted a picture of the screwdriver, and then there was a break. Then they came back and they had a pic of the top of the Losi Center, and then there was a nighttime photo of the picture of the Losi Center because it could show like the disturbance that he was talking about a little bit better, like a disturbance in the gravel. He explained that the disturbance in the gravel, he saw it looked to be like someone laying down. So then they admitted another exhibit, which was the side profile of the Losi roof. And he could see more of the length of the individual. He saw 2 elbows, 2 knees, could see where the pew-pew was laid down. So then what he did is he secured the Losi rooftop with police tape. He asked dispatch to view the footage. And then they confirmed that there was someone on the scene at that time, and they described his movements. He ran to the edge, dropped down, crawled, got into a prone position, then got up and ran northeast after the incident. He then went downstairs to the police department, which is on the 3rd floor right there, so he could view the video for himself. He said he looked at the footage, saw an individual run to the edge, then run off and drop off the northeast side of the building. And then he grabbed more tape, started taping off that area due to the crime scene obviously getting much bigger. And then he said he saw a shoe print in the grass and on the cement. He then left the scene at some point. He left it to 2 officers there, told them not to let anyone in but law enforcement investigators. He didn't touch or disturb anything he observed, and then he went and relayed the information that he had. On cross-examination, he told the defense that he knew there was going to be this event. He signed up for the shift. He did not attend the security debriefing because when he got there were people on the roof of the Hall of Flags. So he got his uniform on and went straight to the Hall of Flags. And he doesn't even know if there was a debriefing or a safety debriefing. He said that on the force, there was 15 officers and 6 were assigned to duty that day. He knew there'd be a lot of people. All officers are armed with pew-pews, the Glock version. There was no metal detectors there to, secure the scene or make sure that anyone else didn't have anything. No drones were being used. There was no roof coverage. Charlie Kirk had his own security. And then the defense started asking him about his report for that day. He agreed that it's very important to be accurate in reports. And he also said that he didn't use AI. It's crazy that we even have to ask that question nowadays, but we do. He didn't say which direction in his report where he heard the sound come from. He also doesn't know what happened to the empty holster or if it was ever taken into evidence or if it was fingerprinted. He said that there were drones that were put into the air by another agency. It's not UVU, and someone was within custody within 30 seconds of hearing the sound. They then went to lunch. When they came back, he said it was unknown if there were other pew-pews that were confiscated. Then he added that he went to the tent after Kirk was removed. His body cam was on. He doesn't know who was with him in civilian clothing with a pew-pew. They went together to the Losi building. He didn't review the video to see if anyone was on the roof between that person jumping off of it and him appearing. There was no shell casings on the roof. They found no ammo. They were not aware of any other pew-pews being found on any other buildings. Body cam went dead while he was on the roof, so their footage stops there. He was not able to identify the pew-pewer or any specifics about them or what they were wearing, what they looked like, anything like that. All he said is that he was skinny. He saw a long black thing in the left hand. He didn't say in the report anywhere that he saw a pew-pew like he had testified to. And then it kind of turns into a towel. And then nothing that day identified the pew-pewer. Then witness number 2, Stephen Hull, came up. He is with the Department of Public Service, a special SBI unit. They went through a lot of things. His department came in and they viewed a lot of videos. They took in a lot of videos from everywhere, trying to put things together to try and figure out who this person was. There was lots of exhibits brought in through this person, videos from individual people, plus a ring camera. Then there was one that they had that they wanted the judge to take into and watch, but he agreed that they had added red circles and zoomed in some spots. And the judge agreed with the defense. You cannot alter a recording and then have somebody say that this is it without them being here. He said that Charlie's team took him to the hospital by themselves. He was pronounced unalived there, and he discussed the medical examiner's report. The prosecutor then had him identify Mr. Robinson in the courtroom. The defense objected, said it's highly suggestive, obviously, because he's the only one sitting there with him, but the judge allowed the identification. And that is it for day 1. So day 2 will be forthcoming, and this hearing will continue. So thank you for being here. Thank you for following along. Here's the question of the day. Do you think Tyler Robinson is going to meet that threshold of probable cause, or do you think this is going to stop dead in its tracks? Let me know in the comments.